nuclear war throughout the whole Cold War. The whole thing started when America tried to stop Cuba from becoming communist. America and Russia became at each other's throats, testing one another to press the button. The Cuban Missile Crisis happened on September 4th, 1962. An American U-2 spy plane flew over Castro's Cuba to spot the nuclear weapon sites. The spy plane was there because Cuba had a revolution, and America tried to help the rebels to put a more democratic government in place. America tried to help the rebels, but pulled out of Cuba. The operation was a complete failure. Russia's goal was to protect Cuba from Americans. The Russians believed that Americans were bad people. Russia, with its advanced placement of its warhead, could hit any city in America. America also had nukes in Turkey, so they could also hit any Russian city. Kennedy was looking weak at the point, so this just hurt him and made him look even more weak. He would take time all day to figure out what they could do to stop the Russians and their advancement. They had three choices. They could take the democratic route, asking Russians to leave, being nice, offering them stuff, making the American government even look more weak, and giving communism the upper hand. They could blow up the missile sites, causing war, or they could blockade all of Cuba, also causing war. After days of thinking, Kennedy and his advisors chose to quarantine the Russian warships. America started at 800 miles off the coast of Cuba, letting in food and other supplies for living. The quarantine turned to 100 miles off the coast of Cuba after a couple weeks, putting America on high alert and putting them on DEFCON 2, the highest point in all of the Cold War. American ships were outfitted with B-32 nuclear bombers. The Americans had the order to fire on any Russian ships in sight, but pulled off at the last second because they were turning around. This made JFK look like a stronger president. After 7 years, with the agreement that if Russia was to pull out their nuclear weapons first, that we would pull ours out of Turkey, the nukes in Turkey finally left. The Cuban Missile Crisis was important to America, because it showed that JFK could be our president, and it also shows that America could find ways out of a crisis without war.